Today I was supposed to go to tennis. That's why I got the fit on. Tennis was canceled because of the rain. But today I thought I would show you guys a simple tube top tutorial. It is 5-step tutorial, casting on 2x2 rib knit. It's a simple knit stitch. Again, we're doing 2x2 rib knit. The 5th step is just casting off in the stretchy bind off method. Spring is coming up, so if you want to get a head start on making some spring garments for your wardrobe, this would be a simple one to make. So let's get into the tutorial. Really quick, I just wanted to reiterate that I do have short YouTube videos on my channel that will explain each of the stitches and steps that we're doing today. So if you guys want to go and check those videos out, they'll be linked down below. I'll try to maybe link it on the video here, so go straight there, shortcut, no problems. So I'm gonna be using this yarn, Baby Bee Stork Struck in Sun Kisses. It calls for a 5.5mm or a US 9 needle. First, pick out a cord. This is the cord that I'll be using. I'm also gonna need a stitch marker. Now I'm gonna be picking out my needle size. So I'm actually gonna size down several sizes because I want a tighter knit. So I'm gonna be using a US size 3. Again, you could use whatever needle size that you want, but I'm just gonna be using this size. I'm gonna bring out my yarn wide a ways so I can make a slip knot. I already did this in my shorts video, but just to recap, you loop it around twice and then you bring one loop over the other. Then we're gonna insert one side of our hook, pull it close, and then start making our stitches. So we're now casting on, and I'm gonna do 104 plus 1, so 105 stitches just for my personal preference, and then I'll meet you back. So I do have the right number of stitches now, 105. 105 stitches, I would say, is size extra small to size small. So we just completed the first step, which is casting on the amount of stitches we need. So now we're going to join in the round. Make sure all the stitches are lined up the right way and all the stitches are facing inward and are all aligned with each other before you join in the round. I realized right now in my YouTube shorts video on how to join in the round, I did it the wrong way, so be mindful of that. So actually you start with the yarn tails in your left hand, and then you bring it over to the right needle, and then you bring this second stitch on the right needle, you bring it over the stitch you just slipped over. That's how you join in the round. So now we could begin stitching. Slip our stitch marker onto the right needle. Now we could start doing our 2x2 rib knit. We're now gonna start by doing our 2x2 rib knit. So we're gonna knit. So we knit the first 2 stitches. Now we change directions and we bring the yarn to the back side, or the side that's facing you. And then now we're gonna purl the stitch by bringing the needle through the stitch like this, and then looping the yarn around, pulling it through, and then pulling the yarn off. So now we're gonna do the same kind of stitch again, do a purl stitch. The yarn's already on the side facing you, bring it around and pull it through, and pull the left loop off. Now we're back to knitting the next 2. So bring the yarn to the front side of the right needle. Bring your right needle through the left stitch or the left loop and bring the yarn through and pull off. Do it again and pull off. And then we go back to the purl side again. So we're just going to be alternating 2 knits, 2 purls all the way around, and you should end back on 2 purl stitch at the end of the round. When you get back to the stitch marker, these 2 should be purl. I'll meet you back when I get done with the first round. Officially done with round 1. Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. So now we're starting row 2. and it's just going to be repeating the same thing that you did in row 1. So make sure you knit all the knits and you purl all the purls. Then we go on to round 3. I'm going to do about 15 rounds of the 2x2 rib knit. Meet you back when I'm done. Okay, so I just completed the 2x2 rib knitting. I ended up doing 15 rows, so that part is done. So now we're gonna move on to part 3, simple knit stitch all the way around, to just knitting all the way around. I'm gonna go for a couple of inches and then start doing the 2x2 rib knit again. Right now we're just in the middle section, which is the simple knit stitch. So now to begin the simple knit stitch rounds. So for the first stitch, we're just gonna pick up the loop going from the left side to the right. Again, I do have short videos on how to do each of these steps. We pull up the loop and then slide our left loop off of our left needle. Pick up the stitch, loop the yarn around the right needle, bring it through, pull it off. We're not going to be doing purls for right now, so only knit stitches. So I'm just going to continue to do this all the way around, and I'll meet you back to the stitch marker again. So now I just completed our first round of just knit stitches all the way around. I'll let you guys know, and I'll measure it out on screen on camera how long I make this section. I'm gonna go watch TV and just continue doing knit rows that I told you about. I'll meet you back once I'm done and I feel satisfied with the length that I have with the knit section. I'm on my last row for the knit section, and I'll just do a time lapse and share what I've done so far. Finished the knit rows. So it ended up being around 5 inches, if you could see that. And this is how it looks so far. I think it looks really good, if I do say so myself. Now I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the next section, and I did 15 rows for this one, so I'm gonna do another 15 2x2 rib knit rows. Now we're on to the next section. This is gonna be the 4th step. Again, to start the rib knit, it's just like what we did with this section. We're gonna knit the first 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and then we're gonna purl the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, knit the next 2, 1, 2, and just go all the way around, alternating 2 knit and 2 purl stitches. Just to remind you guys to end on a 2 purl stitch. I'll meet you when I get to row 14. So I'm done with the second ribbing. I did 14 rows, so the last row, row 15, is going to be the bind off row. So how we start the stretchy bind off is we knit the first stitch. We're now gonna take the yarn tail and loop it this way across the top of the needle, knit the next stitch, take the last 2 loops, bring it over the first loop, and then let go these 2 loops. So that's our first stitch bind off. Next, we're gonna do the purl side. So we're gonna bring the yarn around this side of the needle, and pick up the next stitch purlwise, purl that stitch, bring the 2 loops over first loop, do the same thing again because the next one's a purl stitch, then bring the 2 loops again over. Next, bring it over to the knit side again, knit that next stitch, bring the 2 loops over. So I'm just going to continue this all the way around until I have 1 loop left on my right needle. Okay, now we only have 1 stitch on our right needle. So I'm just going to pull up the loop here to attach it to the beginning of the round. Snip a pretty long tail so we can weave it in the end. The top is now done. I'm just gonna weave these in so it's nice and clean. But this is what it's looking like right now. Just imagine this rolled up. I would wear it during summer. I think it would be really cute, like at the beach over a swimsuit. I'm gonna also add like a bow, and yeah, that's how it's looking so far. Now that I'm done weaving in all my ends, I'm gonna put elastic on the top part. I'm gonna be using this elastic string. So I cut a piece to be about this long. So there's 15 rows here. So I'm gonna be cutting about maybe 5 to 7 of these strings. So I now have my 7 strings of elastic. Put it into my darning needle. The V, this part right here, and I'm gonna go to the next knit and then just go all the way around like that. So once we get back to the beginning of where we started putting in our elastic, we're just gonna make a knot with the 2 ends, and then we're gonna get our scissors, cut off those 2 small ends. So I also decided to do a bow. I'm trying to make something like this, and you could use the double-sided needles. What I'm gonna do is, depends on how big you want to make the bow. So I'm just gonna do 4 stitches like that. Now I'm gonna slide it to the opposite end. Instead of doing it usually this way where the tail end is at the top, I'm gonna slide it the opposite way. The tail end is down at the bottom side. Now I'm gonna take the other needle and start knitting as normal, and then just start pulling it down, and it'll start wrapping itself around like this. So again, slide it back up, take the other needle, knit it, pull it down so it starts making a shape like that. I just finished the length that I needed. This is what you call an I-cord. I would say 16 inches. Bind off the rest of the stitches. Make a long tail so we can stitch it into the I-cord. So now we can make 2 bunny ears. So the last step now is just finding where you want to put your bow. So that is the end of this tutorial. If you guys are interested in purchasing this item, it will be on my Handmade Depop, so watch out for that. The link is down below in the description. I just got home from volleyball practice. That's why I'm all sweaty. I thank you guys so much for watching the video. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below if you want to see some other tutorial or video. I would really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next one. and bye.